Is life after death actually provable? There's a good chance it might be. In my previous video, I mentioned Dr. Michael Newton did thousands of studies with the subconscious mind in a hypnotic trance-like state, which described in detail what happens after you die. And I mentioned no matter what their religious affiliation was, they would all say the same things when they were in this hypnotic trance-like state about death. So what did they say? Here's what they would describe. At the moment of death, they would kind of float above their body and they would see reality in a more etheric way. They could hang around for as long as they wanted because free will still exists, and a lot of people chose to go to their memorial services. When the time felt right, they were guided, sometimes by guides, to head into this spirit realm where they're greeted by their soul family, a bunch of souls that they've been friends with, family with in many of their lifetimes. Basically like a big soul family reunion. They would then do something that they would describe as a life review, in which they would review their life and see what could they have done better, what did they do good, and they would take all this information and knowledge, and keep in mind there's no judgment, there's no like, you sinned so you're going to hell, there's none of that kind of stuff. And they would essentially take this information and go to the next phase, which was planning their next life. They would plan when they're born, where they're born, and they would make these soul agreements or soul contracts with other people who would also be in that life. This is where soulmates would come in. They would also make soul agreements with soulmates to meet up at certain points. The planning of their next life is described as almost impossibly complex. So if you could imagine the most complex mathematical equation that exists, that's all the details that would go into planning their next life. The interesting thing is that free will would still exist, so they would not only plan for the life, but they'd plan for all the potential multiple timelines that might happen. Once they've planned their next life, essentially they go into a new baby's body and they do it all over again.